Okay, in this installment of our Scratch lesson series, we're going to learn how to make a splash screen. And this will help us later when we want to start creating different levels in our game. So a splash screen is simply a little screen that appears at the beginning of the game. It kind of tells you what the name of the game is, tells you how to play it, just that sort of thing. So we're going to learn how to make that today. And to do that, we're going to use a couple different things. But we want to use basically the stage. We're going to change our backdrop to have that information. So we're going to start out by actually just creating the splash screen. So I'm going to go over to my stage, click on that, and go to backdrops because we're going to need to make a new backdrop. So here's my backdrop. I'm just going to call this, let's see, level 1, because that's going to be our level 1 backdrop. And I'm going to duplicate this. Make a copy. Okay, and so it calls that level 2. But what I want to do now is I'm going to change that to splash screen. Splash screen. And I'm going to change this one to level 1. So make sure we have 2. So we have our splash screen, we have level 1. So now our splash screen, I'm going to just throw in some text. So to make it easy, I'm going to click the text button. And make sure that text is white down here. Text, and I'm gonna start typing. So welcome to Ghost Killer. To play, click the ghost or other creature. Okay, it goes off the screen. So hit enter. Creature to save the castle. Something like that. To begin, click the arrow below. And I'm going to put that in a second. Okay, so I got some text here. Nothing out of the ordinary. And then we just click out of it, and that will be all. So, okay, and enter. Okay, so now you can see, welcome to Ghost Killer. To play, click the ghost or other creature to save the castle. To begin, click the arrow below. Okay, so when we start the game now, we're going to want to go over to our script. We're going to want to go and make sure that the backdrop is switched to splash screen. Okay. Okay, so if I put that back, I'm going to click that and see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, the backdrop has been switched to the splash screen, but the ghosts still come up because we have this set of code here. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to take this away for now. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is add an arrow. So I'm just going to find a sprite, and if we go in, there is a nice little arrow sprite in there somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Again, it doesn't have to be an arrow sprite. It could be a ghost. It could be anything, but I guess I'm traditional. So I'm going to double click that. And I'm going to change this to, so we know what it does is go to level 1. So my sprite. And I'm going to put that here. Okay. So I got a sprite. So under events, so when the green flag is clicked at the start of the game, I'm going to show the sprite. And then later, when I click the sprite, events, when this sprite is clicked, now here's the trick. This is how we go to level 1. So the first thing is we want to change the backdrop to our level 1 backdrop. So I'm going to go to looks, and I'm going to switch backdrop to level 1. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, and then click. Okay, so now we're on level 1. Now here's the key. What we have to do is we have to send a message to the rest of the sprites and the rest of the game that it's time to go to level 1. So we're going to use something called broadcast. And broadcast is like a TV station broadcasts information, a radio station broadcast. So it's like sending a message. Okay, so that is under Events, Broadcast. Okay, so it says Broadcast Message 1. I want to change that to something a little more meaningful. So new message. So go to level 1. So yeah, the spelling is really important, but click that. Okay, so remember that. So then what I got to do is now I got to tell these other guys what's going to happen when we do that. So I go over to the ghost. Okay. So what I want to do, now at the start of the game, think about this. I don't want the ghost to appear. Okay. I want him to be hidden because we're going to show the splash screen. So I'm going to go looks, hide. That's all I'm going to do. Okay. So now what we got to do is when I receive, okay, so it's a two-part process. There's a broadcasting process and receiving. So instead of when the green flag is clicked, it's when I receive go to level 1 that I want to begin doing all those things. So let's try that out. Okay, so I clicked it. Ghost is hidden. Okay, so welcome to Ghost Killer. Play, click the ghost or other creature to save the castle. To begin, click the arrow below. We'll click the arrow, and that's going to broadcast. Let's take a look at that real quick. So when I click the sprite, it's going to switch the backdrop and go to level 1 broadcast. So if I go to the ghost, when I do that, it's going to show. So here we go. Okay, so that's the ghost sprite. Now you're probably asking yourself, where are the clones? Okay, so I got to go back to the stage code, which is where the clones are made. And in here, I also have to put, when I receive, go to level 1. Okay, so we're going to set the score to 0. That's level 1 when we start the game. And then create the clones. Okay, now let's try it one more time. Okay, welcome to Ghost Killer. To play, click the ghost or other creature to save the castle. To begin, click the arrow below. Oops, missed one there. So the arrow is still there. Let's get rid of that. Sprite. Okay, so when the sprite is clicked, switch the the backdrop, broadcast, and hide it. And one more time. Welcome to Ghost Killer, blah, blah, blah. Click. And there we go. We've got our splash screen and our level 1. Okay. So, yeah, so that's that. So again, the key things here are we need to create the splash screen. We need to switch to level 1 screen. And we need to broadcast a message telling the sprites it's time to go to level 1. And in our next lesson, we'll talk about how to use that to move on to level 2. Thank you.